You are all welcome to the course Basic Parasitology ZOO122 by Professor R.J. OMBUGADU. The table of contents of this course, we have host-parasite relationship, classes of parasites, types of host, zoonosis, vector, we have sources of infection, we have portal of entry into the body, attributes of pathogenic parasites, laboratory diagnosis, major groups or types of parasites of man and domestic animals, biology of key protozoan diseases, helminths, viruses, rickettsia, and lastly sporochetes. Host-parasite relationship. A parasite can be defined as an animal or plant which lives in or on another organism, which is called a host. All infectious agents including bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, sporochetes, and helminths are all referred to as parasites. The host usually are large organisms which harbor the parasite and also provide nourishment and shelter. Parasites that cause diseases are known or referred to as pathogens. Now we have a scheme representation of the interaction between parasite, host, and what such relationship are referred to. We have parasite, ectoparasite, endoparasite, obligate parasite, facultative parasite, accidental parasite, aberrant parasite, their interaction with the host. Under the host, we have definitive host, intermediate host, paratenic host, natural host, accidental host, reservoir host. Now, when the relationship occurs, we have relationship resulting to symbiosis, normally the relationship of parasites that does no harm to the host under normal circumstance. Then we have commensalism, where one organism is benefited and the other remain unaffected. So it has nothing to lose. And normally this relationship are friendly. We refer to them as friendly. Entamoeba gingivalis is an example of such friendly relationship between the parasite and the host. Entamoeba gingivalis is located in the buccal region, that's the mouth. Then we have another interaction between host and parasite that can result to parasitism, which leads to disease. Here, one organism benefits and the other loses. That's at the cost of the other, which is the host. So we have a scheme showing host-parasite relationship. So for your own exercise, you can draw a sketch showing the relationship between parasite and host. That's for your personal reading. Then we have classes of parasites, which was shown under our scheme. Parasites are divided into ectoparasites. We have examples like ticks, lice, fleas, bugs, etc. They live on the surface of other organisms, which is referred to as infestation. Then we have another class of parasites referred to as endoparasites. We have examples, protozoa and worms. These are the large ones. They live within the bodies of other organisms, and we refer to that as infection. Most parasites are obligate parasites. This means they spend their life cycle in or on a host. They must spend at least part of their life cycle in or on another host. So we refer to such parasites as obligate parasites. Example, we have our famous malaria parasite, Plasmodium species, which invades the red blood cells and many worms that attach to the intestinal wall lining, and they feed on tissue fluids. These are examples of obligate parasites. Then we have a few parasites that are facultative. Which refer to as free living, but can obtain their nutrition from their host. So they are free living and obtain their nutrition from their host. Normally they are free living, but they can obtain their nutrients from their host as well. Examples, we have Nigleria fowleri, an amoeba that move with pseudopodia, and also we have another example, Acanthamoeba species. Next is aberrant parasite. They are organisms that attach a host where they cannot live or develop further, and we have example of Toxocara canis in man, and we have accidental parasite. These ones attack an unusual host, and example is Echinococcus granulosus in man. This is a dog tapeworm, hydatid worm. Then we have the free living, the non-parasitic stages existence. They live independently of a host. Example, we have hookworm. They have active free living stages in the soil. We have types of host. Question that will help you define the following terms: definitive host, intermediate host, parenthenic host, natural host. Definitive host. This is the host in which sexual reproduction of parasite takes place, or in which the most highly developed form of parasite occurs. Is either is sexual reproductive stage of the parasite occurring, or the highly developed form of the parasite. When mature form is not obvious, the definitive host is the mammalian host. The definitive host is the mammalian host. Example, we have mosquito is the definitive host of the protozoa Plasmodium species, mosquito host Plasmodium. Then we have the intermediate host. This is the host which alternates with the definitive host, and in which the larval or asexual stages of parasites are found. So we have the asexual stages of the parasites in this stage of intermediate host. Some parasites require 2 intermediate hosts for completion of their life cycle. Then we have parenthenic host. Is the host in which larval stage of a parasite survives but does not develop further. It ends there. No further life cycle. Then we have the natural host. Is a host which is naturally infected with certain species of parasite. It's referred to as the natural host. And lastly, we have accidental host. Here is usually not infected with a particular parasite, and is referred to as accidental host. Reservoir host is a host which harbors the parasite and serves as an important source of infection to other susceptible hosts. So other hosts are gaining from the reservoir host. Then we have epidemiologically reservoir hosts. They are important in control of parasitic diseases. So when you talk of the epidemiology of a particular disease, we must make reference to the reservoir host of such diseases. Host-parasite relationship. The relationship between a parasite does not harm to the host under normal circumstances is referred to as symbiosis, which is friendly. If the normal defenses of the host are weakened, maybe as a result of disease or illnesses, of course, the parasite may cause disease to the host and is referred to as opportunism. Opportunism. That is an opportunity has been created for the parasite to come in, due to the immune system of the host being weakened. Then we have one type of symbiosis which is also friendly and known as commensalism, in which one organism is benefited and the other remains unaffected, which means the other doesn't benefit and neither loses. It's friendly. Examples of parasites that constitute normal flora, such as Entamoeba gingivalis in the mouth, Trichomonas tenax. Mutualism here, both the partners are benefiting. Both partners are benefiting. So these relationships are all friendly. Where one organism benefits at the cost of the host, the relationship is referred to as parasitism. The disease-causing organisms fall into this group. Parasites that cause diseases, the relationship with the host is referred to as parasitism. A question has been forwarded that can help you work on your own for further learning. Briefly discuss the relationship between host and parasite in organism. Zoonosis is used to describe an animal infection that is naturally transmissible to humans, either directly or indirectly through a vector. So it's a kind of transfer of disease organism from animals to human beings. Examples of parasitic diseases that are zoonosis: we have American and Rhodesian trypanosomiasis, which is the famous sleeping sickness we've been hearing. We have trichinosis, we have fasciolosis, and we have cryptosporidiosis. These diseases can be transferred to man through animals. We have another terminology: vector. Is an agent, usually insect. They transmit infection from one human host to another. So we refer to mechanical vector as vector which assist the transfer of parasitic forms, that is either ova, egg of a parasite, between hosts, but is not essential in the life cycle of the parasite. For example, the famous house fly, they transfer amoebic cysts from infected fecal matter or feces to food that is eaten by human beings. When the flies perch on defecation in the open environment, they now come into our houses and perch on our food items without careful cleaning, you can get infected. Our next subheading is sources of infection. Now, still you have questions that will keep you abreast with the work we're doing. You enumerate 10 sources of parasitic infection. Now, parasitic infections originate from following sources. That is, sources that we can get infected with parasites when in contact with. 1. Contaminated soil and water. Soil polluted with human feces, excreta, act as source of infection with parasites. Examples as Ascaris, lumbricoides. These are the roundworms, which we all know, very common. Tricura, and Cyclostoma duodenale, Nicata americanus, Strongyloides starcoralis. Before acquiring infectivity for man, eggs of this or ova of these parasites undergo certain development in the soil. These are referred to as soil transmitted helminths. Also, we have water polluted with human excreta, since some defecate openly in the environment during rainy season. These excreta are washed into bodies of water, and the water are polluted. Some of this fecal matter contain viable cysts. Examples of entamoeba histolytica, we have Giardia lamblia, Balantidium coli, we have eggs of Tinea solium, we have Heminolepis nana, and we also have infective cercaria coming from snails. Examples, we have Schistosoma hematobium, which affects the urinary system. When infected persons urinate, you have stain of blood from the urine due to this parasite. And we have Schistosoma mansoni, which affects the intestine. And when infected person goes for defecation, the fecal matter may contain stain of blood. And we have Schistosoma japonicum, which is not too common in this part of the world. And we have freshwater fishes constitute the source of Diphyllobothrium latum, Chlorhexis sinensis. So if one come in contact with fish and it's not properly cooked, we can get infected with these tapeworms. They are species of tapeworms found in fishes obtained from freshwater. Freshwater are examples we have rivers, lakes, and streams. They are referred to as freshwater bodies. Then we have crab and crayfish. We can get infected if these organisms are not properly cooked with Paragonium westermani. So we need these fishes and crabs to be well cooked for consumption. Then we have raw or not properly cooked pork, meat from the pig. They contain parasites as Trichinella spiralis, Taenia solium. If we eat the meat of pigs referred to as pork, not properly cooked, we can get infected with these worms. We have raw or not properly cooked beef, the meat from cattle. The cow is a source of worms like Taenia saginata and Toxoplasma gondii. This Taenia saginata is a tapeworm of cattle, and Toxoplasma gondii, we can get that infected through blood of animals as well, come in contact, which can lead to the stage of imbeciles in young ones. It can affect the fetus of the developing child in a mother. Then we have water lettuce, watercress, and it's a source of the parasite we call Fasciola hepatica. Reservoir host is a host which harbors